Jordan, super amazing to connect, man.
Likewise, thanks for having me, bro.
Hey, it's been a long time coming. It's my pleasure. Number one, we've been talking back and forth through LinkedIn DMs, and here we are. So, I wanted to connect with you, and you had this amazing idea on top of connecting, which was let's get on a Zoom call. Let's share a little bit about what you do, what I do, and then this crazy time we're living in, this coronavirus pandemic era that we're in. What can people do to thrive during this time? And your insights from your expertise and my insights from what I do, try to leave the world a little bit of a better place.
Yeah, exactly.
So tell us a little bit, and this is for my context too, because I'm just kind of getting to know you. So this will be cool from my lens. But what is it about Jordan Suber that's unique? Maybe some context about your story, and then what do you do today to help your clients?
Yeah, it's a really good question, actually. So, my really big uniqueness is how I overcame a lot of where I'm at right now. I was born with lead poisoning, and most people who have that, even at grown adults, either die from that or become mentally impaired. And luckily, I'm still alive, and as far as I know, I'm not mentally impaired. And I pretty much used all of that experience to help me now become my best self. And the stories were man, it cannot get any worse than that. Well, I was also homeless off and on from 12 to 18. And like I said before, I'm trying to make sure I don't see that as oh, I'm stuck in that predicament. How can I make this empowering? And right now, what's going on is a prime example of that. So since then, I've published 3 different books. I do public speaking. I had a full ride in college, and now in a marketing agency. I help people in the real estate industry, get more leads and clients and have their own freedom to look on their own terms.
That's huge, man. So your narrative is that of being faced with tremendous adversity and overcoming those things so that you can kind of live the life that you want to, but then you've also had this experience where you can share that with other people and help them in their journey as well.
Yeah, exactly. Because what we're going through does not determine or define who we are as a person.
I love to hear that, man. I've had some unique life experiences as well. And if there was ever a time to quit, there was definitely moments where I could have said, you know what, this just isn't it. And, just whether it was fate, faith, perseverance, too stubborn to quit, I don't know what it was, but very glad that you were able to get through your trials and tribulations. And here we are today. So, just for some context, people that may not know what I do, so I am a financial planner, and I help people make wise life decisions through financial planning. And so the way that I operate is a lot different than most financial planners. Out of 380,000 financial planners that are registered in the United States, I'm in the 5% that don't sell and don't take a commission. So I operate as a fiduciary, which is a funny word to say. Legally, I've taken on more education, more rigorous requirements to be able to advise my clients on how to live their life well today and never run out of money in the future. And so it's a really big thing for me to be able to have that beautiful partnership. I call it a beautiful handshake with my clients, because they know they're not getting sold something. They know that they're not going to have to buy a product. They know that what I offer them is completely in line with what they need, because when they do well, I do well. And that's the beautiful handshake. And then outside of the business, I have a podcast, which is called The Jesse T Show. And The Jesse T Show helps people navigate different aspects of life, whether it's their business, they want to grow, they want to get better in their relationships with loved ones, they want to work on their fitness and be healthier, or they're creating and building something. I have people come on the show that are entrepreneurs, thought leaders, creators, and athletes, and people that can share their journey, things like what you talked about, overcoming these amazing odds, to be able to give people the tools so they can create the successes that they want to create. So I think that those couple things make me kind of uniquely positioned to be able to give advice to people, because I've been through a lot of things that people go through, and wherever life intersects with money is where I help my clients, whether they're entrepreneurs, executives, or families. And so wanted to chop it up with you today and talk a little bit about how you help your clients. And then also, with this crazy pandemic and this new normal we're living in, what are some key pieces of advice or takeaways that you can give to people that are listening and saying, hey, how do I do this with my business? How do I do this in my life? Like what are some things we could talk about? So
Yeah. And first off, that's awesome what you do. It's super amazing. Like, what inspired you to like go that route?
Man, it came from a place. So I live in a very I'm very grateful to live in a place of abundance now, but growing up, I lived in a very big, scary place of scarcity. We didn't have a lot of money growing up. There was times I grew up in the city of Boston. There was times in the winter where we didn't have heat. We had to use the oven, turn the oven on. And for someone who was homeless a few times, I know that probably sounds great to have a roof over your head, right? So there's perspective. But one time, my mother left the stove on, and she went to work, and I was still young, and she was working with something. I think she was into candle making, and she left something on or near the stove, and it caught on fire.
Oh,
And
wow.
if I didn't get woken up to the sounds of my dogs barking like crazy, first it pissed me off because I was trying to sleep. I was like, shut up, shut up. And then eventually I walk in the kitchen and I see smoke billowing out of the stove. And I didn't think about it, but I opened the stove and a big fireball shot up to the ceiling. I called Boston Fire Department, and they came and put out the fire. So that was the first indication that, not having money could lead to dire consequences. We didn't have enough money for heat, and so we used the stove to heat up the house, and that just wasn't a good idea. Plus a bunch of other stuff. And so my mentality was, I started from the bottom. Now we're here, right? So started
Exactly.
from the bottom of not having much, wanting to learn the wisdom of wealth, finding people that could teach me, finding the information, doing all these studies and getting licenses to be able to help clients. And it set me on a path of my own learning. And so I'm a student, and by default, because I've learned so much, I'm able to share that back with clients. And that's where that comes from.
That is an inspiring story.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, I have no doubt this conversation will help a lot of people, without a doubt.
I hope so, man. This is definitely a trying time for a lot of people. A lot of people have money questions right now. That's, when I get in my piece, kind of, we go rap back and forth. I mean, that's where I can help people the most, whether it's keeping more of their money, making more of their money, making sure their business doesn't go out of business because they're not positioned the right way. So there's a lot of things we could talk about. So if you just want to kind of throw in a little bit, like, what are some conversations that you're having with people, and how are you helping your people through those conversations?
Yeah, that's a good question. So a lot of times right now, since I do marketing, most people are suffering because they're having lack of clients. Businesses are closing down. People are having that scarcity mindset of having many. And it's all about having that mindset first off, and hey, out there, people are still spending money. People are still investing. And if you can offer a solution to them, they're more than happy to, invest with you. Site and marketing, I help realtors and investors find more clients or close listings faster by doing Facebook advertising or attraction marketing. The two kinds of equity, we own time and sweat equity over money.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing I'm trying to teach you right now is like, hey, what are you trying to do in your life or in your business? You should always be advertising yourself in some way or another. Either it's helping people or it's, trying to find more people to say, hey, this is the bag I can give to you right now. I want to help you thrive during these times.
Yeah. And so you're probably dealing, a lot of businesses right now are scared, and a lot of businesses are facing the unknown much more than they ever probably were for a long time. I mean, unless you've been around since, these other things that we've had in the past, like the 2008 housing crisis and things before that, the dot-com bubble back in the 2000 area. But, for what I try to teach my clients and talk to my clients about is unfortunately, this is somewhat cyclical, whether it's a virus, whether it's, this is kind of newer, being this pandemic that we're seeing here. I mean, we've had experience with things like SARS and,
Ebola,
all that stuff, but this is just a different version. It's actually, I think this is SARS-3 is what it's classified as. But that being said, how does that affect people in their business? Like, what does that mean for them? And I think the biggest thing for me as a business owner, when I'm looking at someone like you who's a consultant and trying to figure out, well, this is a time where I may have a scarcity mindset, and it may be practical to like save money. How could I change my mindset or reframe my thinking to where maybe looking at this as a time of opportunity for someone in your business and your field of marketing and creating more opportunities for clients through that marketing? Like, what is some way that you would educate me if I'm that type of person trying to figure out how do I utilize my marketing at this time with the pandemic?
Yeah, I love that question. So a lot of different ways to do it. One, you gotta understand what your buyer persona is. Who's your ideal client? So you know who you're talking to. You talk to everybody. You talk to nobody. So I feel like that's out of the way. The next point forward is deciding what platform to use. Is it LinkedIn? Is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? Pick your platform. And then it's all about having a consistent content base every single day, at least Monday through Friday. When I do content, I try to make sure I'm posting a value post, an encouragement post, an authority post, showing that I'm the expert in my field. And so if you're doing finance, this is the same concept. One day if you're posting content just about how to help people not lose money, have to make sure money making more money for them. In terms of finding new clients, there's two big ways to do it. There's direct marketing, which is like cold emails, cold DMs, commenting on people's posts, posting in groups and stuff. This is a really, really powerful way, but most people don't like that. An alternative way is attraction marketing or advertising. And that's like right now, we're making content that could be used, not only empower people can see what we're doing and feel inspired to work with us. Yeah. And advertising is the fastest way to grow, but it does take money to do that.
So that's a good question. That's something we can dive into. So with people, and this is something I might be able to add some value on, but from your perspective, if people are saying they don't have the money right now, what are some things that you're able to do to maybe, reposition that frame of thought so that, they don't look at it as an expense, but more as an opportunity to grow their business? What are some things you're saying to those people?
Yeah, I like that question. So I do a lot of investment opportunities. When I'm talking to my clients, it's not so much that you spending $1,000 or $2,000 for advertising. You're investing this money into your business, making more money. Yep. And since times are so crazy right now, I offer 110% money back guarantee to get more peace of mind. So If for some reason it doesn't work for you, I will pay you 10% on top of it, making sure you're good. But for my niche is real estate. If someone buys $2,000 worth of ads for me, and I can get them sold 2 houses, that makes them $20,000 to $40,000. So it's 40 times their money. So it's kind of how I talk to my clients about that.
The return on their cost to get in is it's exponential what they can make back, right? So, I think the biggest thing for people when it comes to looking at how they spend their money is, especially in business, right? Whether it's personal development for you, let's say you're the leader of a company or you're the founder and you're going out to conferences or you're getting in front of coaches that are helping you level up. The best investment you're ever going to make is in yourself and in your people in your business, right? And so the great, mighty, and powerful Warren Buffett, one of the biggest, best, baddest investors and business people of all time, he actually coined that. He said the best investment you can ever make is in yourself. Mm-hmm. And so if the most successful, one of the most successful business people in the world is saying, pour into you, pour into your people, maybe you should reframe your mind about thinking this isn't an expense that's not bringing me anything. This is adding value to my life, my business life, my employees, and the clients that we serve. So I think that the mindset is a really big piece. So for you and your business, when you're dealing with, you're dealing with the pandemic, just like the clients that you serve. So what has been some of your mindset shifting, or even potentially some of the ways that you're catering during this time of need to your clients?
I love that. So I do a lot of different things. Right now, I'm making more content than ever before. I'm pretty much telling people all my secrets, all my tricks and tips about how to, leverage social media, how to grow their business. I'm getting big discounts on all my packages as well. But from mindset-wise, it's all about how, I overcame a lot of hard stuff in the past. And I'm like, man, if I made it through all that stuff, this is nothing. For the people out there right now who are excited about this stuff, they know houses will be going foreclosed on, unfortunately, but also a lot of people would need even more help than ever before.
Yep, and that's a good point. Is unfortunately, there's going to be people that are super affected by this. They're going to lose jobs. They're going to lose their businesses. They're going to be foreclosed on. There's even some new stats right now that over 200 million people are going to be going without food, based on the supply chain and based on some of these companies like Tyson, who deals with a lot of food and meats, specifically like chickens and things like this, that they're not able to meet the demands, and a lot of their food for a while, because of the supply chain, was going bad. So they had to like kill a bunch of chickens. They were like offloading a bunch of bad food, and it's going to affect people down the line. And so I think that people have to get ready for at least a temporary new normal. I think that right now we're very much in the very beginning of a couple things. We're in the beginning of understanding what this pandemic is. We still don't really know what it is. We don't know that if it's going to come back around in the fall, if it's going to be, it's mutated a couple times already based on where it started and where it is. So do we know if we're going to have immunity, like herd immunity? Are we going to be able to get by? Are we going to have a vaccine, something to kind of help us through all this? And so really all those questions, a lot of them are very valid, very practical, but you have to focus on what you can control. So whether that's social distancing, you know, just personally, whether that's offering different things in your business that you didn't offer before. Let's say a restaurant offers curbside pickup or whatever the deal is. Maybe they're dropping food off at houses. I don't know, whatever. They have to adjust, right? Controlling the fear and adjusting and pivoting. I think most people are looking at ways to do that. And the beautiful thing that's coming from this too is those that wanted to focus more on family time and have really good quality relationships, those that wanted to pick up a new skill. This is a great time to kind of get out of the weeds a little bit of the day-to-day like business, right? And remove yourself from the business. And for those that can, and for those that have that opportunity, looking at your marketing right now, looking at your, your sales operations, like looking at the things that when you're in the thick of running a business, you really can't work on. This is kind of a beautiful time for those things.
Oh yeah. For me, my biggest lesson I've learned so far is like not to play small, because right now we're suffering because we were playing small or not as big as we could be before this happened. So now my main focus of my own business is to try and hire more people, to help more people, not worry about many, but also to grow my agency to help more people on a larger scale. Yeah. Kind of asking me a big question for you is like, what are you telling people right now in terms of like finances, how to manage the money, like make sure it grows?
Yeah. So there's a couple things there. So the mentality for people, unfortunately, just like every other, because just for people, the context of this market downturn, this correction, is regardless of if it's a virus, if it's the real estate market, if it's other sectors, whatever it is, this happens every 10 years or so, ever since the stock market was created back in 1934, right? Or 1933. And from 1933 until now, almost 100 years, like clockwork, every 10 or so years, there's some sort of correction, meaning we just came off a 12-year run as a market of what's called a bull market, where everything was going up over time. You may have like little blips, but over the course of time, everything has gone up. And unfortunately, and those of us that are in the financial game, we had a feeling, not being doom and gloom and not trying to time the market, but we had a feeling that we were overdue for a correction based on what history's told us.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for this pandemic, we would have kept on going, and who knows what would have. But these things have to happen. Expanding and contracting is a cycle that needs to happen. Unfortunately, it came to the guise of a pandemic, which has its own problems. And so first thing I want to talk to people about is the mentality and the understanding that this is to be expected over the course of time, just like real estate, which is what you're really big into for your clients. The real estate market is similar, where over the course of time, houses cost a lot more than they're worth, and then eventually the market corrects, and then now you're back down to kind of where you should be, and then it grows again, and it overinflates, and it's just very cyclical. And so what I talk to my clients about and people is trying to be positioned to take advantage of a market like this. For real estate right now, until the market, because we're starting to get into a recession, and who knows how long that's going to last, because it's a very different recession than the last one, right? So in a recession, the cost of things, they should come down, meaning stocks, to buy into a company like Apple, you're seeing up to 20 to 25% discount on individual stock. To get into a company like a cruise line or even Disney, you're seeing anywhere between 60 to 85% discount on these companies. So if you're well positioned, especially for real estate too, because real estate, just calling it is what it is, over the last couple of years, it's been overpriced because the market's so good. In
Mm-hmm.
some places, 10 to 20%, you're paying more than what the house probably is worth. And that's a good thing in terms of a seller's market and a buyer's market. They're paying a little extra. But when that market corrects and the values kind of come back down again, you have to be prepared to take advantage. And so a lot of my clients right now, there's two camps: those that have liquid and those that have more money on hand, and those that are cash poor. And the people that are cash heavy right now, they're able, you can make a lot of wealth. Number one, most of the wealth in the world is created through real estate transactions. Outside of that, when markets correct and when there's discounts, so to speak, on stocks or real estate or whatever investments it is that you're into, this is a beautiful time for a lot of people to get in low and let those things appreciate over time where they can sell high down the road.
Exactly. Yeah, Robert Kiyosaki said he made more money back in the '08 crash than he ever did in his whole career because of that same fact.
I 100% agree with that. And it sucked for the people that aren't prepared. The thing about it is 60% of Americans don't have enough cash on hand to pay for a $1,000 emergency. So something as small as a chipped tooth or a little fender bender or something they have to come out of pocket, they don't even have $1,000. Now, that being said, there are people that have plenty of cash on hand or access to liquid. Like you said, Robert Kiyosaki, he was able to do really well. That this is an amazing time to be able to do some really big things for the future of yourself, your business, and your family.
Yeah, definitely. And for me, like my big thought process now is, if you're not in the position to have a lot of liquid and cash on hand, is find a way to make that as fast as possible. Find problems, which is a lot of them now, and give them solutions.
Absolutely. And that's a great segue to talk about. Well, so if I'm someone right now who, if I have a ton of cash on hand, great, I know what I need to do. I need to contact someone that can show me kind of what I need to do to make more money with my money. The other side of things is if that person or business doesn't have a lot of cash on hand, two things I want to talk about. We want to get that business to at least 3 months cash on hand operating costs. So if something happens, they have 3 months at minimum. Some businesses I like to see up to 6 months, because what we're looking at right now with this pandemic is a 3 to 6 month window of revenues that are all screwed up, and a 3 to 6 month window of maybe not being able to make payroll or being able to pay a vendor or whatever it is. So we want to get these businesses and business owners to be able to have some cash on hand, whether it's this pandemic or the next big thing that happens, they can get through, because cash is oxygen to any business. So now the question becomes, how do they do that, right? There's a lot of things they can do. If someone's a solopreneur, or let's say that they're running like a couple person company, there's things they can do in their business. They can change their product offerings. They can change price points within there. They can adjust to the market that's happening right now and realize there's one company, for instance, I'll talk about. So I'm really big into health and wellness. I'm big into optimizing your spirit, your faith, your body, your relationships, everything, right? And there's a company down in Austin, Texas, I always talk about. It's called Onnit. I know you're familiar with Onnit. And Onnit was led up until recently by a guy named Aubrey Marcus, another guy, Kyle Kingsbury, and some other people that run this beautiful company. It's a human optimization company. They believe in fitness. They believe in fitness leads to being able to be better service in your business, in your relationship. Because if you're not fit to a degree, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, you can't help other people. And so the reason why I bring them up is because they've pivoted one of their products and offerings that they have. It's I'll think of the name of the course, but basically it's Own the Day or Your Best Life kind of thing. But basically it helps you, really what most people need right now is how to live their life well. And I think it was like a $99 a month, or for the course, they're offering it for $1. So like the people that can pay the full amount, please pay the full amount. But for those of you, because they're pivoting to the season people are going through with cash, for those of you that can't afford it, if you can just pay $1, we'll give this product and service to you for $1. So if you're a business owner and you're if you're a consultant and you have that bandwidth to be able to adjust and help your clients, you're going to have clients and raving fans for life by doing that.
Oh, yeah.
There's another way to keep the clients coming on board. It's another way to pivot and help your clients and build those fans of your company.
It actually reminds me, when I first started off like 5-6 years ago, That's what I was doing to get started, offering free services. Hey, I will coach you for free in marketing. Hey, I will run ads for you for free, get you results as fast as possible. That way I can get my testimonials up and help more people. So if you're brand new right now watching this, the same thing. You have no idea what you're doing yet. Find a way to find people who let you do it for them for free. Coach them for free. Give them a service for free. Just show them you can do it. And that way, you kind of build your testimonials and your skill set.
There's 3 ways to handle transactions right now. It's if you want something done, there's 3 ways to do it. It's going to cost you time or money or both. And the first one is you hire a consultant, someone like you, someone like me, who's an expert in their field. And it's like, okay, I want this marketing person to help me with all my marketing needs so that I can do X, Y, Z. I want this financial person to help me so I can help with all my financial problems and issues, bar none. So you pay us a fee for that. You pay us a premium for that. The second way to operate specifically in today's environment with the pandemic is doing a barter, where maybe there's a little bit of a cash exchange. You're not paying a full rate, but you're also trading services. So like, let's say for you and I, right? Let's just an example. I offer financial planning for people, and I can help people throughout the course of the year outside of managing their investment portfolio. So if you need financial planning advice, instead of me charging my full rate, we can come to a decision and say, hey, Jordan, you're amazing over here at the marketing and the advertising game. I'm amazing over here at the financial planning game. Let's come together. Let's share some insight with each other, and we can either trade services directly or, which I like to do, have a little skin in the game and pay a little bit of money, but then trade services. That's another way to do it.
Yeah.
And if you're not paying for somebody the first way, if you're not trading services with somebody, you're going to do it on your own. So there may be a cost savings there, but at the end of the day, you're trading time for money, which is the whole goal of a really good entrepreneur, is to stop trading time for money.
Exactly.
And so I think that's the mentality. Now, the other ways to do that, setting up other lines of income. There's a document, it's 66 ways to have additional income right now. I mean, and you got to humble yourself, whether it's buying, selling, trading things online that you don't use anymore. It's called, and you could also arbitrage, where you're buying something from this price point and you're turning around and selling it over here. A lot of people that don't have a job right now, or their schedule shifted where they have more time. That's a really good way to do it. Someone who's really big on this is Gary Vee. You can look at Gary Vee.
About that.
You can talk about that stuff all day long. He's of the mindset that everybody has anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000 worth of stuff in their house that you're not using at all. Easy money, especially for the next couple months, where if you got stimulus money or you didn't, an extra $1,000 to $10,000 could really help right now.
Or it could be at a friend's house or a stranger's house. Like Craigslist, prime example. There's free stuff every day in Craigslist. Go on that platform, get stuff for you, and then sell it to somebody else. Like, it's a really fast way, but it's all that ego.
Great time to go yard sailing too. Find something for a quarter, sell it for $5. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's so many ways to make money. You can Uber, you can Lyft. Even now it's a little harder just because of but normally you can do those things. You want to make sure that you're spending your money where your money is going to have a return, whether it's a return dollar for dollar or it's a return for beautiful branding and equity in your business, where people fall in love with you or your company.
Yeah, speaking of branding, for me, my big thing I tell people right now is to brand yourself. And if you love cooking, do free cooking classes on your Facebook or your YouTube and teach people stuff and sell them a recipe book. Yeah. Monetize your passion. That's what I did when I started off.
That's another great tip, right? So for people that are looking to make extra money right now, if they have a little extra time, even if it's only a couple hours here and there, something I've been working on for a while is it's starting off as an ebook. And so this ebook, it's called 10 Ways to Get Wealthy Happily. And it talks about mindset. It talks about behavioral finance. And then it talks about 10 steps if you do these things and make them part of your habits, which a lot of them become automated, so you don't have to think about them. That's kind of makes it easier for the people to do. You will become wealthy. And so for me, I have different price points I'm going to sell this thing at and get it out there. And then eventually I'm going to take that ebook and turn it into a full book and do audio book from it. And read the audio and do all that stuff myself. So there's a whole thing that's coming from it. But if you have an idea, you don't need to do a full book. You can do a 5 to 10 page ebook, and you can put it out for cooking. You can put it out for how to this, whether it's 2 things for an ebook. here's another piece of advice. It's got to be utilitarian, meaning it has to do something and show you how to do something well, or it has to be inspirational. So the inspiration changes your mindset and changes the way that you operate in the world. And it could be both. It could be inspirational, aspirational, right? And so that's another way to do it right now is if people have a thought, something they're really good at, it could be baking bread. It could be whatever it is. How-to ebook right now for a price point of anywhere from $7 to $27. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, huge. And with content creation, you get a huge amount of followers really, really fast by doing that. People are home, they're bored, like they want to watch something, they want to be consuming something. So this is the best time to do that. It's
a great time if you have any business in mind to work on that business. It's also, you could be, if you have an experience or an expertise in something, it could be a great time to become a consultant. And like you said, offer a 30-minute free call with someone. Do it with enough people that find value in what you're saying and doing, and then maybe charge $100 for the next call, or charge for a course that you put together. Maybe you have a course of 10 people every month that pay you $27, $270 a month, extra additional income, which would help a ton of people right now, because you can coach them on mindset, you can coach them on wellness, you can coach them on whatever it is. And that price point can change dramatically, but that's just an idea. So there's a lot of things people could be doing right now to make some extra money. Yeah, definitely. Like I said before we started off, is like the first thing is investing in yourself. Buy books, buy courses yourself, see how it's structured, watch stuff like this to learn from people who are already doing what you want to do in life. Yeah, man, this has been great, and it's crazy because this 30 minutes has flown by. I got another call jumping on here in a minute. We should do another one of these around two. Maybe it becomes a series. I don't know. We got to put people on here, but any words of wisdom from you in terms of an entrepreneur, a business person, or someone who's going to get into that frame of kind of what they should be doing for the next little bit, and then also how can people get in touch with you? Yeah. So first off, big thing I think right now is start before you're ready, because you're never gonna be ready to do anything. Start as soon as possible. And for me, even now, my main job is booking sales calls. Every single day, I'm trying to book sales calls, get testimonials, and help my current clients. Everything else is kind of bonus stuff. But at the end of the day, if you're not making new clients, you won't really get a lot of money, have that freedom to live off your own terms. And to find me, you're on YouTube with Jordan Super, on Facebook the same way. And right now, I have tons of free content to help you out, really monetize your passion and your dreams. I love it, man. Thanks so much for jumping on and sharing a little bit of insight. I know a lot of people that listen to this and watch this are definitely going to get some value. Make sure you follow Jordan and all his social media places and all the free content that he's giving that can help you in your life. Take advantage of it. I'm Jesse T. You can find me on my Jesse T Show podcast, which is everywhere podcasts can be found. You can find me at 46&2 Wealth Partners, where I'm helping people live life well through financial planning. My job is to be of service to you. Jordan, thank you so much for your time, brother. Hey, thank you, brother. This is awesome.